and welcome back. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I had a 5-star island and subsequently decided to destroy and rebuild large parts of it all over again. I'm looking forward to sharing this whole rebuild with you all. This is going to be the first installment of what will probably be many. So without further ado, this is the construction of my museum grounds. So this video is already going to be quite long, so I figured I would take advantage of some of the time that I'm going to spend terraforming the space for the museum to talk a little bit about my decision to move the museum. So if you saw my last video, otherwise you'll see in a couple of clips, but my museum didn't really have like a designated space for it to be, at least one that gave it justice anyway. So the museum is obviously so grand inside. It's a large part of the game, donating the fossils and bugs and fish to Blathers, that I really wanted it to have its own space that was grand and beautiful. So it definitely had to be on top of a cliff and have some staircases and some waterfalls. So I do find it hard to build a cliff kind of mid-island. Of course, you lose all of the space behind it, about 4 blocks worth. So you'll see throughout building this that I'm very mindful of that. I run back and forth quite a bit and make some use out of some bushes and whatnot. So that kind of explains why I do that. So of course, once we finish building all of these cliffs, it'll be time to go to Mr. Nook and get the moving kit for the museum. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't make a joke that I hope Blathers says yes, and of course he does. So we moved the museum. I use the pathway tool just to plan out where the museum is going to go. I want it to be centered on this cliff, of course. So basically that's just me using the pathway to find the center and kind of decide where it needs to go. And then once I have it placed, you'll see again that I use the space behind the museum to put some bushes so that when, there's no fossils that are going to spawn there, but also when we go down to the ground, you're not just looking at the roof of the museum. So yeah. Alright, so this is day 2. Day 2, I take down the old museum area and move all of the stuff over to the new area. I'm mostly testing out the ground if I want it to be paved or not and making room for the stairs. I actually do end up changing my mind on the stairs, so we end up having to wait until the next day once Nooks is moved to place the first staircase. So, day 3. Nooks is moved and I can extend the museum area to the path and set up one of the set of stairs. The original plan was actually only to have one set of stairs, but I didn't end up liking that it wasn't centered with the museum door, so I set up a double stair entrance instead. This day is where I do the bulk of the work, and I do a lot of testing with the waterfalls and whether or not I want the water to come down the sides of the stairs as well. I did a lot of testing also with the fountain and the tree, and just figuring out where I wanted everything to go and how it looked from the entrance to my island. Day 4. So Abel's is finally moved, so I can finally kind of finish. I do a lot of work behind the cliff, making sure that you can see more than just the top of the museum. And this is the final result, at least so far. I definitely want to get some statues to put on both sides where it's just grass right now. But this is how it came out, and I am really quite happy with it, actually. And that concludes the museum construction. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I would love any feedback down below. My next project really is the Nooks and Able Sisters shop kind of area. So if you want to see that, please do subscribe. But thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, see you soon.